Welcome to the deep dive. Imagine for a second the kind of nightmare scenario, the one that keeps database admins up at night. A data breach. Not from some super sophisticated attack, but maybe something simpler, a forgotten open door. In today's world, our data isn't just valuable, it's everything. The backbone of almost every operation, and keeping that data secure, paramount. Especially for something fundamental like PostgreSQL. It's robust, it's everywhere, and securing it isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely vital. Vital for sensitive info, vital for business integrity.
That's absolutely right. So our mission today really is to cut through all the noise, the complexity, and take you on a deep dive. We're hitting the essentials of PostgreSQL security hardening. We've waded through a whole stack of sources, pulled out the really important nuggets, some surprising bits too, basically giving you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on these critical practices.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? Maybe with the weak points. The common vulnerabilities that often pave the way for disaster. Think of these as the challenges we need to really get our heads around first. We can then tackle them. Our research points to a few key culprits. Weak authentication, for one, which, surprisingly often, includes things like PostgreSQL's default trust method, or just weak passwords, or even overly broad IP access, like leaving the door wide open.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the whole issue of unencrypted connections, data just flying around unprotected, plus excessive user privileges, unpatched versions just sitting there with known holes, and secure backups too. And of course, the big one that never seems to go away, SQL injection.
Right, SQL injection, always a threat.
And what's really, fascinating or maybe scary is how these things rarely happen in isolation. They often compound each other. It's like a chain reaction. So by identifying these specific risks, we can then strategically figure out, okay, how do we mitigate each one? And that reveals this multi-layered approach to security that's, well, it's absolutely essential for real resilience.
Okay, so given all those risks, where do we even begin? How do we start fortifying? Our sources seem to point straight at authentication and connection security. That's the bedrock.
Right? Absolutely the bedrock. And diving a bit deeper into that weak authentication point you mentioned, it's not just weak passwords. It's methods like the trust authentication, which basically means PostgreSQL automatically authenticates anyone from a certain IP range. No password needed.
Wow. Okay, so that's literally an open invitation if not configured carefully.
Precisely. An open invitation. And then, like we touched on, the danger of unencrypted connections. Any data exchanged, easily intercepted.
So the obvious question then is, how do we lock those doors properly with modern, tough mechanisms?
Right. So for strong authentication, the sources we looked at explicitly recommend enabling methods like SCRAM SHA-256. And this isn't just some minor technical tweak. It's a modern cryptographic challenge response thing. It makes sure your password is never sent in clear text. It's a huge step up defensively against interception compared to older methods.
Okay, SCRAM SHA-256. Got it. What about controlling who can even try to authenticate?
Good question. That's where access control comes in, specifically configuring pgaba.com. That's PostgreSQL's client authentication configuration file. You have to be meticulous there. Restrict access strictly to trusted IPs. And actively avoid those dangerous wildcard entries like 0.00000. It's about being really specific. Who gets to even knock on the door?
Right, be specific. Okay, so someone is allowed to knock. How do we ensure the conversation isn't overheard?
That's where encryption in transit kicks in. Using SSL-TLS to secure the data moving between the client and the server. It's absolutely critical. And it adds another crucial layer too, verifying identities. Both the server and the client, so you know who you're talking to.
Okay, so for you, the listener, this foundational layer, the authentication, the access control, the encryption, this is really your first line of defense. It's crucial. It stops unauthorized entry, protects data as it travels, right from the very beginning.
Exactly. So once we've secured that front door, the next big step is managing what people can actually do once they're inside. And that brings us straight to controlling power. Privilege management. Role-based access.
Ah, yes. The problem of excessive user privileges, especially granting unnecessary super user rights.
Precisely. It's like giving every single visitor a master key to the whole building, even if they just need to get into one tiny office. It's risky.
So what our sources seem to hammer home about building a secure system, it's not just locking doors, is it? It's about meticulously managing who gets which keys once they are inside.
That's the crux of it. And this is where the principle of least privilege becomes so important. A core security concept. It basically means users, applications, whatever, they should only have the absolute minimum permissions needed to do their job. nothing more.
And how do you implement that in PostgreSQL?
Through role-based access control, RDAC. You can use predefined roles, for instance. PostgreSQL has built-in ones like pgmonitor. pgmonitor gives just enough access for monitoring tasks. Crucially, it can't modify any data.
Okay, so limited specific roles.
Yeah, and you also have the flexibility to create your own custom roles, maybe a read-only user for reporting apps, or very specific admin roles for particular database functions. The goal is always ensuring users only have the permissions absolutely necessary. Avoid those unnecessary super user rights like the plague. You know, host, well, least privilege sounds pretty straightforward. In practice, it's often, well, it's an ongoing battle, isn't it? Developers might ask for more permissions than they strictly need, just for convenience.
That's a really great point. Convenience versus security, the classic tension. So it's not just a set it and forget it thing. You have to constantly audit, constantly refine those permissions as roles change.
Absolutely. Constant vigilance, making sure convenience doesn't accidentally trump security.
Okay, so for you listening, this part is really about understanding how to precisely manage who can do what. It's key to preventing damage, whether it's accidental or, malicious, from inside your system.
Right. Now let's shift gears a bit and tackle something truly persistent and dangerous. SQL injection. This vulnerability, it exploits weaknesses often in the application code, not the database itself directly, but it lets attackers manipulate database queries, leading to data theft, sometimes even destruction.
It's like someone tricking the application into whispering a secret malicious command to the database, right? Making it do things it shouldn't.
That's a perfect analogy. And for anyone building or managing applications connected to a database, understanding how to stop this, it's not academic, it's practical, it's powerful, it's defense against one of the most common threats out there.
So what are the primary defenses? What did our sources highlight?
Okay, two main things: prepared statements and parameterized queries. These are really powerful. They act like a strict separator. They keep the data you provide completely separate from the code, the instructions. So malicious input can't be misinterpreted and run as a command. You're basically telling the database, look, this is just data. It's not an instruction.
Got it. Separate data from code.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, beyond that, the sources really emphasize strict input validation and also type checking. This means you check any data coming into your application before it even gets near the database. Does it conform to the expected format? Like, is this field that's supposed to be a number actually a number? Or is it some malicious code string?
Check everything at the door, essentially.
Exactly. And as another layer of defense, and this loops back to what we just discussed, limiting database user permissions is crucial again. Because even if somehow an injection attack gets through that first line,
Right.
the damage it can do is significantly limited if the compromised user doesn't have sweeping privileges. They can only damage what they have access to.
Makes sense. Defense in depth. Okay, let's talk about the long game then. Staying ahead, monitoring, auditing, patching. What are the risks if we neglect these?
The big risks here are primarily unpatched versions, leaving known security holes wide open for attackers to just walk through. And also just a general lack of visibility, not knowing what's actually happening inside your database. You really can't secure what you can't see.
True. So what does this ongoing security look like? What tools or practices should be in place?
Well, vigilance is key, as we said. For better security visibility, our sources strongly advise enabling detailed logging, log queries, log authentication attempts. This creates that vital audit trail. Who tried to do what and when? It's like installing security cameras inside your database.
Okay, detailed logging, like security cameras. I like that. What about getting even deeper insights?
For that, our research points to PickGotIt. It's a powerful PostgreSQL extension. It's specifically designed for fine-grained auditing. You can track data access, schema changes, really critical activities. It helps you spot suspicious behavior much faster, like someone accessing data they shouldn't or making unexpected changes to tables.
Right, Pete got it for deeper dives.
And patching.
Patching is non-negotiable. Regularly apply patches and updates as soon as they're out. And address those known vulnerabilities immediately. It's a bit like that old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah. In database security, especially with patching, it's probably more like a gigabyte of prevention is worth a terabyte of disaster recovery.
Huh. That's a good way to put it. So these tools, the logging, PickGotIt, the patching, they help you see what's happening and keep those defenses current.
Exactly. It underscores that vigilance isn't just, a recommendation. It's really the cost of doing business securely today.
So wrapping this all together, Synthesizing our discussion,
Yeah.
what we've really explored today is this multi-layered hardening approach.
Mm.
It's not about finding one single silver bullet, is it? It's about building a robust defense system, layer upon layer.
Precisely. It combines all those critical elements we talked about: strong authentication, carefully controlled access, encryption for data in transit, smart privilege management, robust SQL injection prevention. And that continuous monitoring and patching, our sources make it crystal clear. Combining these strategies is what ultimately ensures PostgreSQL stays resilient. Resilient against, well, the ever-evolving landscape of cyber threats out there.
And there you have it. This deep dive, hopefully, has given you a pretty clear roadmap. Understanding and implementing these essential PostgreSQL security practices, you should now have a solid grasp of the common weak spots and, more importantly, the specific ways to mitigate them based on our source material. You're more informed now with actionable insights to protect that critical data, all designed to prevent those nightmare scenarios we started with.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Given how fast cyber threats evolve, what role does a proactive, maybe even just a curious mindset play, beyond just implementing these technical fixes we've discussed? How might continuous learning, staying curious, actually become your strongest defense in the long run? Something to think about.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you all next time.